The web of life. Let me try from the first to indicate the point that we're aiming at. The point is this, that human consciousness is at the same time as being a form of awareness and sensitivity and understanding, it's also a form of ignorance. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. And because of this, it leaves out things that are terribly important. It leaves out things that would, if we did know them, allay our anxieties and fears and horrors. And if we could extend our awareness, you see, to include those things that we leave out, we would have a deep interior peace. Because we would all know the one thing that you mustn't know, you know, according to the rules of our particular social game. The one thing you mustn't know, that's really not allowed, but is the lowdown on life. And the lowdown, on the one hand, means the real dirt on things. But the lowdown is also what is profound, what is mysterious, what is in the depths. And there's something left out. And our everyday consciousness screens this out in the same way that when you say you have weaving, you have, say, on this rug here in front of us, when the black finishes here, the black threads will go underneath and then appear again over here, then they'll go underneath the white and then they'll appear again over here, you know? So that the back will be the obverse pattern of the front. Now, the world is like that. Our sense organs are selective. They pick out certain things. They're receptive. For example, we have a small band of what you might call a spectrum of light, of sound, of tactile sensation, and so on, to which the human organism is sensitive. But we know that outside that small band, there is a huge range of vibrations to which we have built instruments that are sensitive. Things like cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, hard X-rays, so on. They're all outside the band of our spectrum. And obviously, there are things that are outside the range of our instruments. We may build new instruments someday which will evoke, bring into our consciousness other orders of vibration altogether. But yet, as yet, we don't know about them. So you could imagine, you see, the universe is a vast system of vibrations and has infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities. Hello to you all. You are watching RHTVLive, and we're streaming live from the beautiful city of Maastricht. Here we have Maastricht, which is in the south of the Netherlands. And of course, we're going to talk politics and geopolitics. And the first thing on our radar is Doge and the uncovering of U.S. aid. So, but first, we're going to take a look at our friend Dave Politis, who is talking about missing people, and we're going to watch this.
Your friends, Dave Politis, Canada Missing Project, copyrighted edition for a video channel. This is Huck TV on the Canada Missing Project, and there is Huck, the magnificent Great Pyrenees. Hey, yes, she's been a really good girl. We had a bath the other day. Took her to the doggy place. Yeah, it's a good girl. Oh yeah, it's a good girl. Oh yeah. And some people were making some rude comments. Oh yeah. Saying, oh Dave, you're overfeeding your dog and she's getting so fat. Well, there's a picture of Huck. And look how thin she is when she's all wet. So Huck is not fat at all. It's all hair. And for the people that don't know Great Pyrenees, they have 2 layers of hair. So that's what that's about. So keep your rude comments to yourself. Huck is lean, mean, fighting machine. And here we go. Well, I appreciate you being here, and we're going to keep going on this new format, see what happens. Longer version of our shows, and see what the response is. See if we get more time added to our per video watch on YouTube. Now, here's what's going to happen. Sometime in the next month, we've got it already in process, that we're going to have a show that's between 60 minutes and 120 minutes long. It'll be live. It'll be pay-per-view. It'll be between $2.50 and $6 to watch us. We're still working on the price. And it'll be about something regarding missing 411 that you've never seen before.
I do hope you stay on YouTube, Dave. We love you. We love your work. We love the fact that you are exposing, right, missing people throughout the ages, talking about the 1900s till now. This is very, very important. People need to know, right, that these missing people also have family members who are still in doubt. So this is very, very hard work that you're doing, and we appreciate it, Dave. We love you over here in the Netherlands.
See how that works. We've got to do something to offset what we're losing on YouTube. It's just the way of the world. We'll still be here in some form or another, but probably twice a month we're going to run something like this to offshoot what we've lost monetarily. And we're well on our way to getting it done. I'm hoping that you guys will come over and watch it once or twice a month. We really need the support. And my books are available on our website. Missing 411 books. Do not buy them on Amazon, eBay. You'll get ripped off. They're charging between $25 and $200 for my books. Go to our website. That's NA, like North America, NABigfootsearch.com. Go to the online store. Buying's easy. So thanks for being here. We've got a theme for this show. Yeah, a theme. And that theme will become readily apparent. The first case involves a young boy named Justin Staley. You guys don't like to hear sad stories? There are no sad stories today. So hang in there, watch the entire segment, and I guarantee you're going to be surprised about this. This is Justin, 2 years old. The story's in Missing 411 North America and beyond. He went missing September 3rd, 1981 at 11:40 in the morning. He was from Lake Park, Iowa. His dad owned a 70-acre farm adjacent to a large lake just west of Lake Park, Iowa. His parents were Jeff and Marlis Staley. At about 11:20 that morning, Mrs. Staley allowed Justin to go outside to play with his dog, Sandy. And every day he and the dog played, had fun. They were like best buddies. One didn't go anywhere without the other. So about 10 minutes later, Mom goes outside to call Justin in for lunch. He and Sandy were gone. Well, they were playing on the front porch of the house on the farm. So she yells for him, nothing, doesn't hear any barking, no sounds. She searches for an hour, gets her husband, they both search together, nothing. At about 2 o'clock, they called the sheriff, so they almost immediately arrived. In fact, the sheriff, Wendell Kiltz, arrived himself and immediately started calling for reinforcements because there were cornfields all the way around this farm. And they got about 300 locals, volunteer firefighters, etc., to come in and help with the search. So it was getting massive quickly. The sheriff had a feeling that he's going to need more help. So at 5 o'clock, he made a call to St. Louis, Missouri, for a special bloodhound to come out. And as this was going on, over 100 people stayed until 2 in the morning, continued searching, calling Justin's name, etc. Now, it's important to note that at 11:40, the mom went out, searching, looking, couldn't find him. Got the husband. At 1 o'clock, Sandy the dog returned. Remember what we talked about, dogs returning, especially with young kids. Well, the next day, September 4th, the sheriff had known about this specific superstar dog in St. Louis called Sir Joe. Very famous canine. Dog had a national reputation for finding everyone it ever looked for. And that morning, the dog got there, was given the scent at the front of the home, and it walked down the driveway, stopped, walked in circles as though it was confused, and it laid down. Now, I've been involved in hundreds of canine searches because the canines were assigned to our SWAT team when I was there. And I never have seen a dog do that. Ever. Never. And I'm sure it surprised the handler to no end that this superstar dog just gave up. Obviously couldn't find a scent trail. Well, the handler pulled the dog off, gave it a break. And in the meantime, the sheriff had spoken to the school district, and they closed the junior high and the high school early and sent all the students by bus to the farm to assist on the search. The sheriff had set up a search on a 3-mile radius from the front porch of the home. And he had a map of the area. And the sheriff, a couple searchers, and the family walked the perimeter of the farm. Part of that perimeter dealt with a very high fence between he and the ranch next to him. It was agreed between the sheriff and the family that they wouldn't search that area, and they would search the radius around the other parts of the farm. Well, the students, working under the direction of the sheriff, searched nonstop until 8 o'clock that night. And then they were asked to come back the next day, which the majority of them did. September 5th. Estimated 3,000 to 4,000 people showed up at the Staley farm. Unbelievable number. The sheriff again broke the ranch down into grids, assigned people to search, and they searched shoulder to shoulder through the cornfields. They even took machinery apart where they thought maybe Justin could crawl into it. 2 new bloodhounds arrived from Sioux City, and one from Storm Lake. Each were put on the scent, same location, different times, and independently, those two dogs couldn't pick up the scent. Now, friends, that is pretty weird. Again, I've never heard of this. So they searched till near midnight, nothing. Calling out Justin's name.
So we have a boy and a dog missing, right? And the dog returns, but the boy's gone. Very, very interesting cases. And thousands of people have been searching for this kid. And let's listen to what happens.
Looking for him, nothing. September 6th. A psychic hired by the family stated that Justin would be found close by. She stated that a blonde man driving a tractor drove right by the boy. Well, immediately, the family found who that tractor driver was, and all of the ground that he had covered the previous day was searched again, and nothing was found. And in fact, the high school students stood 20 feet shoulder to shoulder as the driver told them where he had driven, and they searched to make sure they didn't miss anything. They had so many people on the farm that they started to have logistical issues. How do you feed that many people? How do you get them all enough water, coffee, etc.? Well, the local community donated $10,000 in food, water, etc. And to help pay for Sir Joe's flight out, which was expensive. At about this time, Jeff Staley, the dad, was told by the sheriff that they had no idea where now to search at the end of the third day. They had searched shoulder to shoulder through cornfields, through barns. They didn't know where else to go. And the sheriff told them that they didn't know what other direction to take. Jeff took that they were ready to terminate the search. And there were dozens of press people out there. It had gotten a lot of coverage. Well, Mr. Staley said, he started off his talk saying, "We won't find Justin alive." And it was communicated that the searchers were going home. A very somber tone to a three-day search for a 2-year-old little boy.
I ask you this. How far can a 2-year-old boy go? Well, according to Dave Politis, more than 5 or 6 miles. In kilometers, it's like, one mile is 1.6 kilometers. It's 10 to 12 kilometers, right? So 5 to 6 miles from the point of vanishing, right? Dave even asked Les Strout, a survivalist who has his own show, and Les Strout took the path of a kid who was eventually found alive, and Les Strout said, "We can't do this. We can't go on." The kid was like 3 or 4 years old, and 10 kilometers, 5 or 6 miles from the point of vanishing. There's something strange going on here,
So Interestingly, the location was right next to Spirit Lake. Spirit Lake is a place that we've searched many times across the U.S. Not this Spirit Lake, but different Spirit Lakes around. Now, why does a location get a name? I always wonder that. Now, here's Minneapolis. The location that we're talking about, Lake Park, was right next to Spirit Lake, and there's several lakes right in this area. So you kind of get an idea where we're talking about. So,
if you look at these regularly, right, then you'll see that people vanish in lakes or near lakes and boulders. So that's where Dave is going.
Jeff Staley talks to the press, essentially closing everything down. The sheriff starts to send people home. A man named George DeGroot, 25 years old, a local farmer to the Staleys, had been privately enlisting the help of 2 Arizona psychics as this was going on. He just didn't say anything to anybody, just was doing it on his own, wanted to figure out what was happening. The day before the search was closed down, the psychic tried to explain to DeGroot where Justin was located. They stated it was south of the farm on an adjacent farm. DeGroot had searched, didn't find anything. Called Staley's name, didn't find anything. Well, DeGroot calls the psychics back at the end of the search, or near the end of the search. And the psychic says, well, maybe my directions weren't so good, let me try again. So 3,000 searchers covered a 3.5-mile radius. A helicopter with FLIR and 2 airplanes saw nothing. 3 canines, one of them being a world-class dog, found no scent trail. DeGroot got new directions, and he went into the farm south of the Staley's residence, and he went in on horseback. 9:50 that last night, at 6 o'clock, they called off the search. 9:50 that night, DeGroot is riding his horse and thought he heard crying. So he gets off the horse into a corn row and finds Justin laying face down on one of the last rows right near a creek. DeGroot said that Justin was initially scared, but looked fine. He grabbed the boy, put him on his horse, and rode the half-mile back to the Staley home. And he was eventually transported to Dickinson Hospital for observation. He was released the next morning in good condition. DeGroot explained that the boy was located on the farm where the family and the sheriff stated he could never get over that fence. My friends, that's a biggie. When a sheriff and a family and other searchers say that boy can't get over that fence, we don't need to search it, they know what a 2-year-old boy could and couldn't do. Now, why is this case super important? Well, first of all, a psychic found the boy, giving directions to a searcher. And let's go back and cover some of the points that are important on this. One, he's found adjacent to a creek. He disappeared with his dog Sandy, who came back about an hour and a half later. But we've talked about dogs coming back before, and especially dogs with young children. they tend to stay almost all the time with the child unless they can't. They had a helicopter with FLIR. This is the one that really, really gets me. So Justin is a half mile from his farm. I guarantee the helicopter flew that area with the FLIR. How do you miss that? And I'm telling you that a person's body, who's alive, and Justin was, emits a very bright signal in amongst nothingness of the cornfield. You can't miss it. So how did they miss Justin? Right?
Justin had missing time, such as many, many other people who were vanished or, say, abducted, right, and came back. There was this case at the east of the U.S. Someone was skiing and ended up in the west of the U.S. So it's very, very odd. And yeah, we love you, Dave. We appreciate you for doing the work. This will be sent to you. So, but we got other stuff on the radar, such as U.S. aid and Doge. And you may wonder what Doge actually means. That is the Department of Government Efficiency. There we go. The Department of Government Efficiency officially is U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization. It's a temporary organization under the United States Doge Service, formerly known as the United States Digital Service. Despite its name, Doge is not a cabinet-level department of the United States government, which requires approval of the United States Congress. Well, Doge has been looking at U.S. aid, see what they've been doing, and Next News Network, which we also love. Gary, we love you. You know, Next News Network covers what U.S. aid gave out to other countries.
Sorry, I don't know why I did that, but that commercial will never leave me. The Tides Foundation, tied to George Soros. Gunter Eagleman posting this, quote tweeting John Lefevre just 3 hours ago. You paid for this. USAID funneled $27 million to Black Lives Matter through the Tides Foundation. Here is an iconic photograph from the destruction at one of the BLM rallies. Your tax dollars helped pay for that.
Now, you may wonder what USAID is, right? We didn't cover that yet. United States Agency for International Development. So there we have that.
And we have this. Real questions being asked. Now, I want to point out, I believe that this question was pointed at the previous administration. And they were asking about USAID. And this is the previous administration. Now, listen to just how terrified they are at answering the question, because they know what USAID really is. And at least Sam Husseini had the balls to ask the question back then. Well, now we're finally seeing what's going on. The curtain is being pulled back, but I want you to listen carefully to this moment.
It's a slush fund, right? That is what USAID is, or USAID is. It's a slush fund. The CIA operation, that entails many NGOs, non-governmental organizations, for radical changes within countries that they invest in. Right? USAID gave 30 countries, 30 plus countries, money and, for destabilization or overthrow the leader, right? Or propaganda. That's basically the three branches that U.S. aid was used for.
I'm happy to. How much money went from USAID to the work at Wuhan and to their collaborator, Ralph Barrick, at the University of North Carolina to collect and make coronaviruses that are weaponized, that are more deadly?
So I, first of all, reject the implicit accusation in that question, and I do not have at my finger. I do not have at my fingertips the particular details of USAID.
Are you saying for certain? Are you saying for certain that no USAID money went to the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
Go ahead.
No, please tell me. Are you stating that no USAID money went?
I am happy to take questions from those in this audience. I'm happy to answer them. I appreciate that they treat every.
You're not happy to answer them. You're answering with a non-answer, right? Because the journalist is asking where the money's going to. And you're saying, well, I really can't answer to that, but I'm giving an answer, which is a non-answer. So they were avoiding the spending of U.S. aid.
Person in this room, including myself, respectfully, I call on you. I'm now calling on someone else. Go ahead.
Me respectfully, please tell me, what are you denying?
Go ahead.
What is your denial? It's a non-denial denial.
Do you see how defensive they are when a question was raised like that? Well, now we're finding out that they did, in fact, fund the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Yep, they did a lot more than that. We were covering Afghanistan, right, the Taliban and all that, and we found out U.S. aid was actually, making roads and such, and hiring contractors, Afghani contractors, who gave money to the Taliban, right? So this is all what happened, and this is how you prolong a war. First, you make your own enemy. We know that the Taliban came from the Mujahideen when they split apart. So you fund your own enemy, and then you fight your own enemy whilst funding them. How long did the war in Afghanistan take? 20 years? This is why.
Curtain is pulled back for all to see. Listen to this. This was just published 6 hours ago. USAID paid Hollywood stars to travel to Ukraine. Arch Kennedy posting this allegation that Jean-Claude Van Damme, 1.5 million, Ben Stiller, 4 million, Sean Penn, 5 million, Orlando Bloom, 8 million, Angelina Jolie, $20 million. Now, these are allegations that are being made here. I want to make it clear. So that's what we're learning. E-News. This is a still shot from E-News, $20 million. Man, that's pretty damning. Here we have two. Okay, this is really interesting because this was, as we're learning all these things about USAID, people have been sounding the alarm about this organization for the longest time. One of those.
Here's one of them, right? We were warning about this. You're funding your own enemy whilst you're fighting it.
People, this was posted by the Vigilant Fox August 14th of 2023. It is an interview with RFK Jr. and Tucker Carlson. Listen carefully to RFK break it down about how USAID covertly funded the unrest in Ukraine.
It is overthrown Victorian 2014. There are riots it's called the Maidan Rebellion in Ukraine. which we're not told that we are financing those riots. The newspapers never told us, our government never told us. USAID, which is the CIA front, put $5 billion into funding those riots. Those riots lead to to a coup d'etat against the first democratically elected government of the Ukraine. It was a government that refused to choose sides and to say we're going to be on the side of the West. So we wanted them out. A month before that government is overthrown, Victoria Nuland, who's the part of the centerpiece of the neocon ideology and who is now a high-level official in the State Department, has a secret call with the U.S. ambassador, which is tape recorded and is now public, which anybody can go and look up, where she is picking the new cabinet for the Ukraine, which is which is a U.S. Western cabinet. So they're picking the new government a month before the old government is overthrown.
Is that how democracy? Is that democracy when Victoria Nuland picks her government?
Well, that's the point. Is USAID doesn't really do. And the CIA don't do democracy. The CIA is overthrown, I think.
Well, we were pointing out that Victoria Nuland was calling Jeffrey Pyatt, the American ambassador in Ukraine, for the seat of power, right? We were pointing that out, just for your information.
83 governments between 1947 and 1997. That's a third of the governments on Earth, and most of them were democracies. Oh, it doesn't do democracy. It does coup d'etats.
Wow. So that was what they were talking about back in August of 2023. Vigilant Fox posting that. Arch Kennedy also posting this. This is why the elites in both parties fear and dislike Trump. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. Looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats' left-wing rag known as Politico. Seems to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all. Perhaps the biggest in the history. Democrats can't hide from this one. Too big, too dirty. Oh, do you see what's happening here? We're finding out where all the money is going. And USAID right at the heart of it all.
We love Doge, right? We also need a department for government expenditures, right? And we need to find out where all the euros are going to. We know that the Dutch media is also financed, right? We know. So let's take a look at the American media and see what's happening here.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling, irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 No, what's extremely dangerous is that you have a slush fund, right, projecting propaganda and also fighting back, fighting against the people who are prone to this, who see what's going on and stuff like that. Censorship, that's what they want, right? They don't want the audience talking back. That's what they don't want. They don't want Gary Franchi from the Next News Network to prevail in his news gathering.
Here, this was 24 hours ago. Representative Nancy Mace. Listen to what she has to say about USAID.
USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no, Governor?
I have no position.
Of course you don't. Okay, USAID awarded over $750,000 to fund alleviating loneliness among migrant garment workers in India. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
USAID awarded $1.5 million for providing a gender-sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border. Does this advance?
I love your response, Gary. It's like, huh? What? Really? Are we doing this with our tax money? Yep, you are. You are. And this is why America is deeply in
America's
debt.
interests, Governor? No.
No. I have no position.
Does this advance the interests? Okay, so USAID awarded $4.3 million on October 1st, 2023 to a group to fund comprehensive health services for men having sex with other men in South Africa. Does this advance the interests of American citizens, Governor? No.
No. I have no position.
I bet you don't. Okay. USAID awarded $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment and opportunity for LGBTQI plus people in Serbia. Does this advance America's interests? No.
No. Nope.
You have no idea, right? Okay.
Oh, man, Nancy Mace just ripping the curtain right down in that committee. Here is, we got some Joe Rogan and Brett Weinstein on the USAID revelation.
Now, over here in the Netherlands, we have a different slush fund, right? We have the European Investment Bank, okay? And the European Investment Bank gave 392 million euros, count that back in dollars, right, to our media. Here we go. USAID's European sister is the AIB, the European Investment Bank. You wonder why we always hear the same narrative coming from the MSM? The AIB just wrote a check to DPG Media for approximately 392 million euros. The biggest media corporation in the Netherlands and Belgium. So there we have our slush fund, right? The European Investment Bank. And let's take a look at this here. Reference number, release date, DPT Media NV, DPT Media NV, location Belgium, Netherlands. So, proposed EIB finance approximate amount, 120 million euros. Total cost approximate amount, 392 million euros. The project consists of investments in RDI that are not listed in any of the annexes of the Environment Impact Assessment Directive, amended by the Directive EU. The environment details will be verified during the project appraisal. So there we have it, right? We have some more info here. In 2023, DPG Media, owned by the Fontillo family, had 1,446 employees in Belgium and 3,731 in the Netherlands, totaling 5,177 journalists and employees. They reported 1.7 billion in revenue and 360 million net profit, with the family taking 40 million in dividends. Why on earth do they need a $302 million euro loan? So we have that going on, right? Just a whitewash of media and sold and bought over media. So that is the primary suspect, right? And I love your face, Gary. You know, it's like Joe Rogan too. Joe Rogan is like, wait a minute, we're spending so many millions on Afghanistan, a dam in Afghanistan which is not used, and a road which is not used. You know, it's really mind-boggling. Right? Let's take a listen to this.
We were always wondering, why is the national debt so high? Why is our deficit so insane? Well, this is it.
Elon's this U.S. aid thing that's going on. You know, Mike Benz has been on that like a pit bull, and I've been following him on X, and he's going to come back on here and kind of explain everything. But he explained it the last time he was here, and I don't think I really grasped it until Elon's 6 wizards. He brought in some young wizards to go in there and go over the books, and they're just finding crazy shit. It's great, and it's so interesting. I was listening to a left-wing podcast today. I like to mix it up. You know, I listen to all kinds of different stuff, and it was like I was listening to a different world. Like, they weren't even talking about all of this corruption and all this.
We are not right-wing. We are not left-wing. We are awake. Thus, we do not choose a side from left and right. Both parties are corrupt. Now, what's happening with U.S. aid is amazing. These are revelations. Revelations coming out, and we got a lot more coming out. We also have the JFK file, the RFK file, the MLK file. Who knows? Maybe even in the future, 9/11. You know, so we got a lot to look forward to, but. Yeah, it's very good to see this, you know, and many people will be angry, right, pissed off because they don't have any money. Their slush fund has ended, right? You don't have control over reality. And we, as civilian journalists, are fighting back. Now, my voice may be small, or maybe not. I don't even know. Because, you know, how are you doing? And, you know, so I don't know about my influence, but I'm not a movie star or a news reporter, or, you know, I'm just a concerned citizen. I want to know what's going on in America. I want to know what's going on in other parts of this planet, right? It's not only about America. It's also about Canada. It's also about other countries, right? It's also about the Netherlands. We live in a cesspool of corruption. Our former prime minister is now general secretary of NATO. And this guy, this Mark Rutte, he broke up the Netherlands. He destabilized the Netherlands. These are massive crimes that are not, they don't punish Mark Rutte. No, they give him a job higher up. It's really amazing. It really is amazing. Because if I would do the same things Mark Rutte has done, but as a citizen, I would be put in jail. I would never see the daylight anymore. Right? So, and that guy is now General Secretary of NATO. A very, very dangerous, delusional sociopath, and he wants war with Russia. Well, Trump, if you're watching, I hope you stop Mark Rutte. I hope you say, right, NATO is supplied and financed by the USA, so let's move our headquarters. Let's move our headquarters to, I don't know, Washington or New York. You have the United Nations building there, right? In New York. So why not put NATO over there? Yeah. So you can keep Mark Rutte on a short leash, right? So, yeah, do that as an executive order, and we will be more free than we can ever expect, right? And you, Donald Trump, you can do that. We don't need a NATO base in Brussels or Warsaw or name another city, right, with a NATO building. We don't need that. Romania does not need that. Calin Georgescu is against the NATO base in Romania. This is how he got a lot of votes. And NATO says, nope, Russian influence. Now, doesn't that sound familiar, Donald? Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyway, I'm on a tangent here. We're going to take a listen to Joe Rogan and where does USAID go to?
This obvious buying of influence. Instead, they were talking about aid overseas and how people are going to starve. And like,
it's mind-boggling. And there's also, I have to say, I'm upset at the general pattern of a failure to recognize how right those of us who hypothesized that there was a racket that had overtaken our entire governance structure. We turn out to be absolutely right about this, and no one's going to mention it. That's mind-blowing.
It's very strange that the media is ignoring it, especially the left-wing media. It's just too big of a win for the right, and so they're just ignoring it. And then they're just highlighting the good things that USA did, which I'm sure that probably did. Probably had to do some good things to like at least justify its existence.
As a cover story, I'm not even sure. Maybe it doesn't change anything. Obviously, this was a mechanism used to funnel money to all sorts of things that we didn't vote on, that don't make sense in light of our constitutional structure. And I obviously have concerns like everybody else about where this train takes us, but seeing that structure broken up it's a huge relief.
Well, you know what? I am on that train all the way to the station, baby. Let's go.
Same here. Let's roll, man.
Here we
Let's roll.
have Trump Mila Joy posting this 24 hours ago. Trump called for an investigation to find out who in the government has been getting kickbacks from USAID. For instance, AOC has been in Congress for 6 years. She makes $174,000 a year, and she's worth $30 million. The only way that happens is by kickbacks. Now, there's a reader note on this. As of her financial disclosure in 2023, AOC has a net worth of at most $45,000. They're calling this a baseless claim that her net worth is $29 million or $30 million in order to reply wrongdoing has been made before on social media and repeatedly debunked. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. 6,000, Clayton Morris posting this, 6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms received USAID money. It's a wonder all of them parrot the same news. You've seen this before.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling, trying to get responsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media. More alarming.
Hear this? I mean, just this clip alone, they're pushing back against fake news being spread on social media, yet they're all parroting the exact same thing because they're the ones parroting all the fake news. And then USAID.
Exactly. They said, right, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Now, I don't know any Iraqi people, right? So, but I do feel for them. They were invaded on basis of lies by the Bush administration, you know, and thousands, millions have died, and you know, human trafficking and all that. That's the worst thing you could ever imagine, and that happening to people far, far away. Now, it does not influence you or me. Well, maybe it does, because those people are coming to our countries, right? First we bomb them, and then we say, hey, you're welcome over here. Come on over here. No, no more. Donald Trump says no more, right? If you're here illegally, you got to get out. You know, because ICE is on the warpath and trying to take over the streets, right? Because America's infested with Mexican gang cartels. Now, instead of Obama doing something about those cartels, nope, he gave weapons to the cartels. The Fast and Furious. No, I'm not talking about the movie, right? These are documents, Fast and Furious. So,
ID sending them all kinds of money. Here we have, okay, check this out. Buckle up, friends. Here it is. Dom Lucier, exclusive, recovered footage of the Iraq Sesame Street show. I knew this was going to surface. When we heard about it, somebody would dig it up. Here it is. The Iraq Sesame Street show that USAID paid $20 million for. Okay.
نعمان هل أنت في الداخل؟ يمكنك الخروج الآن فقط. يا سلام!
Now, I ask you this, right? As an American taxpayer, did you ever see this on television? You're paying for this. You as an American taxpayer, are paying for these shows to come on in Iraq or name another country. Did you ever see these shows? Now, that's my question to the American audience.
Yeah, so how does that advance American interests? I don't know.
It doesn't. It doesn't, right? The Pax Americana age has basically destroyed itself. This is the coming of the Second Roman Empire, right? If you look back in history. So let's take a look at, for instance, Iraq, right? Since we were watching Sesame Street, over here we have Iraq, a country destabilized by lies and such. Here we have Syria, still not free. We have HTS, what's his name, Giuliani or something like that. Who cares? You know, the CIA paid asset to run Syria into the ground. Now, who knows what Donald Trump may do, right? We have Israel going towards Damascus. They have the Golan Heights, and they're going towards Damascus. And east in Palmyra, we have a U.S. sponsored group, right? So I think Donald Trump will use that group to overthrow the HTS commander, who is now in politics, Giuliani or whatever his name is. So I think that will be the new strategy of Donald Trump, right? Because he does not want to talk with a terrorist. That Giuliani guy is on the terror watch list, and now he's running Damascus. So Donald Trump was also talking about the Gaza Strip and relocation of Palestinians. Now, that's going to be very hard, right? Because the Palestinians have been under pressure. Many have been killed, and this and that. So it's a very hard thing to do. But we have to understand the thought process of Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump says, you know, this is not working out. We need a peacekeeping army, basically, in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, right? We need to relocate many Palestinians to Egypt or other places within Israel. Still hard to say because it used to be Palestine. Anyway, or Jordan. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But that is a very big operation, and Donald Trump, you know, he wants to make buildings and stuff like that. So, will we have American sphere of influence within Israel? That is the question on the table. And yeah, who knows? Who knows? It will not be good for America because, you know, you need a lot of American troops within the Gaza Strip. you know. So that's not good. And relocating lots of Palestinians who don't want to leave, that will be a hard thing, right? So, yeah. How do you solve this? How do you solve this? Well, in my opinion, you need a round table, right? A round table, which consists of many countries, such as Egypt, Jordan, a representative from Saudi Arabia. I would not choose Syria at the moment. Lebanon, you know, make a round table, international, whatever, you know, and place it in the Gaza Strip. This is a retaliant for Israel to attack, right? So first of all, you need to remove Hamas as a political power. Now, that will be a very big question. How will you do that? Right? We know that the military basically set up Hamas. So they have intel. They know who the people are, you know, and they don't care about civilian casualties. They don't care. So use the intelligentsia to track these people down, right? You don't need to kill them, you know, but say, stop, or you will be killed. You know, put the pressure on the leaders of Hamas, and yeah, this is how you solve it, right? And as I've said before, put an international building in the Gaza Strip, so that will be a retaliation from Israel attacking the Gaza Strip. Because if you attack that building, you know, then you'll attack Egypt, you'll attack Lebanon, you'll attack Jordan, and maybe even Saudi Arabia, you know. So, but first, you need to get these countries around the table, right, to negotiate about the Gaza Strip. Because every country has Palestinians. Jordan has Palestinians. Egypt has Palestinians. Saudi Arabia has Palestinians. Iraq has Palestinians. Even Syria and Lebanon, you know. So make a round table, you know, and as I've said before, right, international building in the Gaza Strip so it will not be attacked. And then you can recover and, you know, don't occupy the Gaza Strip. Don't do that. That's a wrong road to go, right? Because the Palestinians won't see you as the liberator, as you've seen in Iraq, right? And so just place an international building, make a round table, so the Gaza Strip will not be attacked. And then you can, you know, clean up and this and that. So that is what needs to be done, in my opinion. And you need to negotiate with Israel for expansion of the West Bank, right? Because, you know, the West Bank is an open prison, the same as the Gaza Strip, basically. The Palestinians have to go through checkpoints and this and that, you know. That needs to stop. That really needs to stop. So There's a lot on the table over Israel, right? And let's not forget Syria. Yeah? You're not going to negotiate with a terrorist, are you, Donald? So, yeah. That's what's happening within the world. We still need a solution on Sudan. The war is still raging in Sudan. Let's take a look at what's happening in Sudan right now. If we can find some images. So here we go. The Battle of El Fasher was so crucial. BBC, we know the BBC was funded by US aid, so we're not going to take a look at that. Deadly artillery shelling in Omdurman market in Sudan. At least 54 killed. This needs to stop, Mr. Trump. This needs to stop. Let's take a look at this here.
Sudan's civil war has devastated the country and strained relations with neighboring South Sudan. Events in January 2025 have stirred up xenophobic feelings in Sudan and outrage in its southern neighbor, heightening the risk of regional instability. Early in the year, the Sudanese armed forces captured Wad Madani, a town in Sudan's central Al Jazeera state. The paramilitary Rapid Support Forces had seized control of the town at the start of Sudan's civil war in April 2023. This sparked outrage in South Sudan and also led to anti-Sudanese riots in the capital Juba and other cities on the 16th of January this year, resulting in fatalities, injuries and widespread looting. Here's the latest from Khartoum.
This is the aftermath of a strike by Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF on a market in the city of Omdurman, which killed at least 54 people. Bodies were seen wrapped in white and black bags placed on the ground. People injured in the same attack were receiving treatment in a nearby hospital. The RSF in a statement denied targeting the market and instead accused the Sudanese army of launching attacks targeting civilians. Army and RSF have struck densely packed areas in a war that broke out in April 2023 over the integration of the two forces.
Keep on pushing forward and good will come to you, God willing. Don't pay attention to their advance on Alinka Street or Al Mauna Street or on the General Command. They will not enjoy the General Command for long, nor will they enjoy the Signal Corpine. I'm calling on you to think of what we're going to take control of. What we will take, not on what they have taken control of. No, what will we take? You have to push forward. You have to look ahead.
The conflict has killed tens of thousands of people, driven millions from their homes, and plunged half of the population into hunger. In the past few weeks, the army has stepped up its offensive in Omdurman, which lies across the River Nile from capital city Khartoum, aiming to regain complete control from the RSF.
The Sudanese people stand behind the army, and we are all witnessing now how the entire people is supporting us in this battle. This battle is nearing its end, and these rebels, Rapid Support Forces, shall cease to exist. We pledge to the Sudanese people that we'll keep fighting until we achieve this.
The Sudanese Doctors' Union appealed to nearby medics to assist at the hospital, saying there was an acute shortage of medical staff. It added that one shell had fallen meters away from the hospital. One survivor of the market attack told the AFP news agency the shells hit in the middle of the vegetable market. That's why the victims and the wounded are so many. Both sides have been accused of targeting civilians, including health workers, and indiscriminate shelling of residential areas.
civilians in Sudan and eastern DRC must feel so powerless. Power seems gripped by those waging war around them. The government, our partners, we cannot simply will a ceasefire into being. But this is not a license for inaction. As with Gaza, it can take hundreds of days of diplomatic failure to reach even the most fragile of ceasefires.
The recent skirmishes have forced emergency response rooms to shut several health centers, affecting the provision of medical services to thousands of residents. Africa Bureau, WION, was this one.
So we have that going on. Many casualties, many people moving from the war zone, right? So you have basically how it all started, right? It started off with Libya. The fall of Gaddafi led to many proxies going to other countries, right? So it started off with Libya and the armies, the proxies that the U.S. supported with U.S. aid, by the way, they went to Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali. It all came from Libya and, of course, Sudan. Now, Sudan had a civilian government and they basically used the army to fend off the proxies, right? And then the army said, you civilian government are too weak. We are going to take over. And they used paramilitary forces, the RSF, to also, fend off the proxies destabilizing Sudan. So there was an agreement between the army and the RSF, and that did not last long. A disagreement came and they were clashing. So that is the beginning of the Sudanese war. Now, Sudan has been in war for ages, it seems, right? If you look back at the 70s and the 80s, there was also war in Sudan, and this and that, So it's a very not stable region, put it that way. Ethiopia is the same. Ethiopia wants support, right? They want access to the sea. Now, they did it under the table deal with Somalia, Somaliland, but Somalia says, nope, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that. Nope. So Ethiopia is still waiting for a port. They're also constructing a railroad through Kenya to the sea, but that has been stalled, right? So, yeah, Ethiopia wants their share of the pie, and they're not getting it from other countries. So, Mr. Trump, if you're listening, this is also very important, right? This whole situation with Ethiopia and Somalia. The president of Somalia even went to Egypt, right, for Egyptian support when Ethiopia will attack Somalia, or if. So, that is all happening. And, yeah, we showed it on RHTVLive, but that was a while ago. We'll show it again. Somalia president in Egypt. There we go. And here Egypt's El-Sisi host visiting Somali president. So
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud in Cairo on Wednesday to discuss countering terrorism and Somalia's security. A military cooperation protocol was signed between the two countries after discussions. One of the outcomes of today's meeting, of which I'm very proud and
you are a bad president, Hassan. You are a very, very bad president. Not giving your neighboring country access to the sea is very, very bad. You are provoking, you're setting up a wall, right, so they cannot access to the sea. So you are very, very bad. Going to another country, asking their support if you are attacked, it's very, very sad. A bad president. You should give them access to the sea. Why not? You can profit from it, right? Just say, okay, you need to pay. That's all. You can profit from it. But no, that's not what you want.
committed to is the new defense agreement signed between Somalia and Egypt in front of us today. On Monday, hundreds gathered at a Somalia beach hotel, the site of an attack claimed by Al-Qaeda's East African affiliate that left 37 people dead and dozens wounded, to condemn the violence and demand stronger security measures.
Now you heard it. There was a terrorist attack not far from this, right? Many people died. So that's all happening. And this is a couple of years ago, I believe. 5 months ago. Yeah, it's uploaded 5 months ago. So been longer than that, if my memory recalls, right? And so this is all happening, and let's take a look at this here. Mr. Kennedy, Americans understand what Doge is doing.
I've been in the Senate.
And this is not affiliated with Robert Kennedy Jr., right? This is another Kennedy, John Kennedy.
For 8 years. In dog years, that's 56 years. And it feels like 56 years. I've learned a lot, met a lot of interesting people. Before I got here, everybody told me about the Washington bubble. And I said, how serious could they be? Well, it's true. There is a Washington bubble. This place is different. It's in its own way, sometimes disappointing, sometimes refreshing. It is deeply weird. For one thing, common sense is illegal in Washington. It's illegal. For another thing, I've discovered that this is a town of very frustrated ex-class presidents. And there's a Washington way of doing things. And when things aren't done that way, when somebody challenges the status quo, many, not all, but many of these frustrated ex-class presidents in Washington, on the Hill, and otherwise, they get excited, not in a good way. They can't get their mind around doing anything other than the Washington way. Some of them, particularly in the media, they go almost catatonic, or the exact opposite. They foam at the mouth, and they really get upset. They can make a Valium nervous. It's like the world, we're not doing things the way we've always done them, and the world's going to spin off its axis. I want to try to put in perspective what many of my Democratic friends have been talking about today. They're very, very, very upset at President Trump. And they're very, very, very upset at Elon Musk. President Trump ran for president on a number of issues. One of the issues he ran on, he said it almost every day. He said, if you elect me president, I'm going to go through the entire budget and review all the spending, line by line. If I heard him say that once, I heard him say it 1,000 times. And that's what he's been doing. He went out and appointed, through an executive order, Elon Musk, who some people like him, some don't, but he's not a dummy. He's a very successful business person. He's got a top secret security clearance. President Trump issued an executive order, and he turned to Mr. Musk, and he said, Mr. Musk, I want you to do for me what I said I was going to do in the election. I want you to go through all the spending, line by line. Now, let me ask you something, Mr. President. How are you going to review the spending without reviewing the spending? How are you going to audit the spending by an agency without auditing the agency?
Oh, it's easy. You're not. Right? You're not auditing an agency. No, you're giving it value. Right? The USAID, we need USAID because people over there on the other side of the world are starving. You know, the last time I was in the U.S., this was a while ago, but still, they were asking if I have electricity. So, yeah, we do. We do have electricity here. Don't worry about that. Right? Americans have no knowledge of what's going on in the rest of the world. Right? So when I say something, I really mean it. And we're trying to teach the American audience about what's happening in the world. And many people will say, this is boring, man. I'm going to tune out, right? But, yeah, I don't care. We're doing this for the morality, right? We need morals back. It's good to have two genders, but we need our morals back. And how can you find the morals if the path is uncertain? Well, first you need to go inside yourself and cleanse yourself from the ego. Separate it. See it as really knowing yourself. When you separate your ego from yourself, you see the world in a different way. You don't see the religion. You don't see the color. You see the character of the people, what people are doing. Here, this is bad. I explored South Africa's white-only town. No, it's bad. You don't need a white-only town. You need to live together, right? Live together. But people don't want to live together because they have an ego. Not in my backyard. Yeah. So this is how it goes. Let's take a look at Al Jazeera, because Al Jazeera is basically saying the same thing I said, that the U.S. is going to take over Gaza. So Trump wants the U.S. to take over Gaza, but what does that mean?
Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Today, taking Trump's vision to turn Gaza into a Riviera seriously.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too.
It would mean the forced removal of millions of Palestinians. So, is it fantasy or a sign of what's to come? I'm Kevin Hurton, and this is The Take. U.S. President Donald Trump stunned not just the world, but even those within his own circle this week. During his joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington, D.C., he proposed taking control of the Gaza Strip. He suggested relocating 1.8 million Palestinians and redeveloping the land into what he called the Riviera of the Middle East.
Gaza is a hellhole right now. It was before the bombing started, frankly. And we're going to give people a chance to live in a beautiful community that's safe and secure.
Then, on Thursday, he laid it out. On Truth Social, he explained that Israel would turn over the Gaza Strip to the U.S. at the, quote, conclusion of fighting.
The Gaza Strip will be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region, right? In the region, which consists of Israel, Jordan, we saw Lebanon. Don't place the Palestinians in Syria right now because, HTS, Iraq, and maybe even Iran. Because the Iranians were also concerned about the Gaza Strip, right? They also say to Israel, stop bombing these people. Get Iran involved. Don't smear them as an enemy. Get them involved. Get them involved in the Gaza Strip, right? And this is why there was Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is now broken. So, yeah, do what's right, Mr. Trump. Do what's right. Not what Israel demands of you. Do what's right. Relocate these people outside the Gaza Strip and clean it up and let these people return to the Gaza Strip. Because there is we were talking about it ages ago. There is a plan to relocate the Palestinians towards Spain, Ireland, and all the other countries that were opposing Israel bombing the Gaza Strip. Right? So this is what Israel wants to do. We don't want that as Europeans. You know, this is a proclamation of war, basically. You know, we want the people from the Gaza Strip to live in the Gaza Strip in peace. Right? You need to remove Netanyahu. He's a corrupt piece of crap. That's what you need to do, Mr. Trump, if you really want peace in the region. All right? So, yeah, we can talk about a lot more, such as Myanmar, which is still under army occupation, right? And all these surrounding countries are saying, you know, nothing wrong with that. You know, it's very, very sad because Thailand and Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam, they're all profiting from the gruesome dictator in Myanmar who has a small dick, I've been told. So, yeah, you don't believe me, right? Well, let's take a look at a video of Myanmar. If we can find it. There. Welcome to Myanmar. There we go.
Visit Myanmar, home to natural wonders, ancient culture, friendly people, and of course, fascist fuckpigs and war criminals. Myanmar! Hello, I am from the military, government of Myanmar, where we didn't like how people voted in our last election. So on the morning our elected MPs were to be sworn in, just as this fitness instructor was live streaming a kick-ass cardio routine, we launched a coup and arrested them. The people protested peacefully with slogans and sarongs. So of course, we responded with bullets, shooting teenagers in the head, mass arrest, rape, torture, and airstrike, killing thousands and displacing millions. Visit Myanmar. Our short man with mommy issues then appointed himself Prime Minister, President, Chairman, and awarded himself the most glorious Order of Truth. And if that sounds like he's in desperate need of validation, that's cause he is. And everyone in Myanmar thinks he's a motherfucker. That's why the people have taken up arms to defend themselves, forming a resistance movement which now controls most of the country, while elected MPs have formed the National Unity Government, the actual government of Myanmar. But don't worry, cause not only do we have decades of experience in killing our people, including a genocide against the Rohingya, we also have a shit ton of weapons and cash, thanks to our friends.
Hello, I'm from the Russian government.
This needs to stop, right? This needs to stop. I protest that the Russian government is funding this military junta. You know, this needs to stop. So, and Trip and Falls, you're never late. You're never late. So, but it needs to stop. It really needs to stop.
Where we give zero fucks about sanctions on the junta, so we sell them fighter jets to launch indiscriminate airstrikes on villages, like this one which killed hundreds, including 40 children. Here at the Chinese government, we have a shit ton of major investments in Myanmar, and to protect them, we're helping the junta hold sham elections and arming their air force via our state-owned company, AVIC, proud partner of Airbus. Welcome to Airbus, where nothing says pioneering a safe and united world like doing business with folks who help war criminals bomb schools, health clinics and concerts. Here at the Indian government, the chosen one also sells the junta military equipment, while his best friend built this Madarchad a new port. Here at the government of Japan, we help the junta build railways used to transport weapons. And here at the government of Singapore, we still let sanctioned tycoons like this Bangsat kick it up in multi-million-dollar villas.
We're grateful to all the governments propping up our brutal junta. But above all, we're grateful to ASEAN for giving us legitimacy.
Hello, I'm from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, where we legitimize the junta by inviting them to represent Myanmar at hundreds of ASEAN meetings on trade, energy, tourism, security. We even let the guy who led airstrikes on schools and hospitals host our Air Force conference. And we do enjoy the irony of letting a junta that's raped and murdered hundreds of women and children host our Women and Children's Protection Committee, ASEAN. Meanwhile, Myanmar's actual government says we should be pushing our members to impose sanctions and cut off the junta's supply of jet fuel. You know, the thing sustaining their aerial terror campaign. Are we doing that? Of course not, silly. That wouldn't be good for business for ASEAN members, like us, here at the Thai government, where we earn billions from mining Myanmar's gas. Even these bungstains cut their ties with Myanmar after the coup, but not us. We expanded our investments there, like us, here at the Indonesian government, where we know what it's like to have a war criminal as president. So in solidarity, we let our mates sign some sweet business deals with this one. And here at the government of Vietnam, our telco provides the junta with data and tech, as well as millions in revenue from Mytel subscribers, since the military is also a shareholder. Armitel. It's all part of our 5-point consensus for dealing with the crisis in Myanmar.
Is it working?
Absolutely. That's why the UN, US, EU and all these guys say ASEAN should keep leading the way.
Which works for everyone.
They get to avoid taking meaningful action. We get to...
They get to avoid taking meaningful action. No. No. I say no for the people of Myanmar. I say no. These people deserve freedom. They don't deserve an army ruling over them. And, you know, many people have been killed. They don't deserve that. Right? We want peace. That's what we want. So, screw this ASEAN organization. You know? We want peace.
Keep pretending to solve the crisis whilst profiting from it.
We get to keep plundering and terrorizing Myanmar,
while the people of Myanmar are left to fight a ruthless army with homemade weapons and civil disobedience.
The government of Myanmar thanks ASEAN and all our friends for helping us to fuck our people and democracy. Now hurry up and send us more jet fuel, you pieces of shit. Visit Myanmar. Authorized by the Department for Democratic Resistance Against Fascists and Short Men with Mommy Issues. Ajirobong Aoyami.
He also has a short dick, I've been told. So we have another video of Australia, which is also an honest government ad. And we're going to take a look at this here. Honest government ad, nuclear Australia. Let's take a look at this.
Party. Australia is about to have an election, and we're here to get Australia back on track, starting with our nuclear plan. Nuclear power is an impressive technology and a source of zero-emission energy. So the cooked part of our nuclear plan isn't the nuclear bit, but the our plan bit. Let's take a look. Will our plan make electricity cheaper? No. Experts say it'll increase your energy bills. Even our senator for saying the quiet part out loud said,
"It ain't the cheapest form of power."
In fact, CSIRO's latest report shows it would be the most expensive form of power, twice the cost of the cheapest form, renewables. And yes, they did factor in batteries and transmission lines. But why trust our science agency when you can trust the costings we release just before Christmas so you wouldn't notice they're utter bullshit? How good are small modular reactors? Do we know of any that are commercially available? No. Do we know when they'll be available? No. Do we know the cost? No, but
if you don't know, vote no.
How good are big nuclear reactors? Dato says we'll build the first one in 12 years. Is that realistic? Let's ask some other Western democracies. Hello, I'm from the government of France, where our latest nuclear power station took 20 years to build from announcement to completion at 4 times the cost. And I'm from the British government, where our nuclear plant is taking 23 years to build at triple the cost. And here at the US government, our latest nuclear plant took 18 years. And our hearts go out to the people of Georgia, who'll pay billions more on their energy bills due to its cost blowouts. Sure, all these countries have decades of experience with nuclear, but you can trust us, the party that couldn't build car parks, in collaboration with the party that can't build a railway, to build a nuclear power station from scratch cheaper and faster than them. The UAE did it. Hello, I'm from the United Arab Emirates, where we built a nuclear power station in just 15 years end to end. All you need to be is an authoritarian state that employs slave labour. Gina would love slave labour. Sadly, Australia's a democracy with laws to protect our workers and environment. It also has nuclear bans at both federal and state levels. Do we have a plan to repeal them? No. Where will we store the waste? Where will the nuclear plants go? Here and here. Have we asked the folks living there? No. But if they refuse, we'll just force them to sell the land. When you put all this together, you can see why the chances of Australia getting a nuclear reactor in less than 20 years, if we get one at all, are approximately fuck all. And here's the kicker. 20 years from now, renewables are projected to power 96% of our grid. And we're almost halfway there, as Australia built the equivalent of 6 nuclear reactors worth of wind and solar in just the last 6 years. So do we even need nuclear? Oh, sweetie, we don't give a shit about nuclear. We just want to slow down this. Because what will Australia need to fill the energy gap while it waits 20 years for this? That's right, more of this and this. Which brings us to the real aim of our nuclear plan, keeping Australia dependent on fossil fuels, or as we call it, Project Gina. So to sum up, we want to pretend to build nuclear plants we don't need, on land we don't own, in states that don't want it, using your money to keep our clapped-out coal plants alive, increasing the risk of blackouts, and make you pay for the most expensive form of energy today, while you wait for us to bring you an even more expensive form of energy, thereby increasing our emissions, reneging on our climate commitments, and jacking up your electricity bills, all so we can keep Gina and these nuts.
It's basically a slush fund, right? We as a government are going to spend this and that on nuclear power because we need power, blah, 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 blah. No, it's a black hole that the government invests in so they can profit from it. The same goes for USAID. The same goes for the European Investment Bank. These are slush funds, you know.
Bags happy, vote Liberal, and get Australia back on crack. Authorised by Gina. Hello, I'm from the Labor Party, and we'd just like to say we love this episode because this nuclear debate is doing a great job of distracting from how we're busy expanding coal mines and offshore gas developments. So keep it up.
Oh, you gotta love that, Mozart. So we have that going on, right? Slush funds used to fill their own pockets. So people in Australia, people in Canada, people in the US, now you know how the game is played, right? We're glad with Doge and the opening of the books of USAID and stuff like that. You know, it's amazing to see. We are in amazing times, and yeah, let's hope that that these amazing times will be amazing for everyone, right? Everyone. You know, not just one type of people, no, for everyone. We all want peace, right? We don't want war. We have the Sudan war, we just show that. We have Myanmar still going on. People want peace. We don't want war, right? So, and now Donald Trump is maybe going to annex the Gaza Strip, and who knows how that will end out. The Palestinians don't want to go. They want to stay there. And why do they want to stay there? Because otherwise Israel is going to annex the Gaza Strip. It's very, very sad. It used to be Palestine. Pre-First World War, Palestine was a region within the Ottoman Empire. It was never declared a state, So, this is why Israel came to existence within Palestine, because it was not a legal state. And the rest is history. Now we have the West Bank and the Gaza Strip still as, former Palestine. How many people needed to leave, needed to flee, because other people had said, we are better than you, and you are scum. You need to go. No, we're all people, right? I don't care whether you're from this region or that region. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what God you pray to. I don't care. I do care about your actions, right? What you are doing to try and change the world, because we have influence. This is a battle that we're in, a very, very long and hard battle. So we do have some videos of Canadians who are, awake, knowing that there is war elsewhere, and they are doing a peace rally. This was during the Freedom Trucker Convoy protest a long time ago, but still, here we go. Hold the line. I tell you, Canadians, be proud of yourself. Be proud of being a Canadian. You guys are pioneers. Don't let the corruption take over your land, right? It's your land. It's your land. Now, maybe you don't have influence or whatever as one person, but as a community, as we saw in Ottawa during the protests. It was beautiful to see, man. You got like people basically living on the streets, and all these truckers came together and said, we are Canadians. We're Canadians. We're going to hold the line here. Justin Trudeau, you got to go. And Justin Trudeau eventually is going to step down, or has stepped down, but there's no elections yet. In October, I believe. Well, Canada, Justin Trudeau said, I'm going to go. So he must keep up that promise and resign. Go already. Go, Justin, go. We don't miss you. You know, you gotta go, Justine. Go away. No one wants you anymore as a prime minister, right? So let's take a look at this piece of scum who froze bank accounts and stuff like that. You know, I hope the Canadian people will look at this and say, we are worth it. We are worth it. We're going to come together in Ottawa and we're going to make him resign. We're not going to wait until October. We're not going to do that. You said you resign, Justin. Go away. Go away. No one needs you.
Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite your best words, the Canadian people are on to you, Justin. The Canadian people know that, you know, you are raping their country. So let's take a look at this here. This was during questioning during elections, I believe. And we have one proud Canadian woman standing up against Justin Trudeau. Let's take a listen to this here.
You've sold us out to globalism.
Okay.
You are not working for Canada. You are working for your globalist partners. I wonder how much they're paying you to betray Canada. What do we do with traitors in Canada, Mr. Trudeau? We used to hang them for treason. And you're doing that very same thing to us now. We know what you're doing. You've sold us out to globalism.
Okay.
Exactly. You're being sold out to globalism, right? You're being sold out. Canada, the Canadians I know are proud people, and yeah, they all got to go. They all got to go. You know, this needs to happen. We need to get politically involved without being involved in political parties, right? You know, please do something. Justin Trudeau said, yeah, I'm fighting for Canada. No, you're not. You're breaking up Canada. You're making it a lot worse, right? Canada has many resources that you guys can sell. And yeah, it's we got so much to say about Justin Trudeau. We got another video, a confrontation where you see Justin Trudeau just smiling. Nothing's happening here, waving his hand. Hello, I. Scum. You're scum, Justin. You're scum. So let's take a look at this here. It's on Facebook. You destroyed this country, Justin. Oh, wait, sound.
Justin. Hi, Justin. It's time to resign, Justin. Justin, nobody likes you anymore, Justin. Justin, you destroyed the country. The highest tax levels in the G7, Justin. You destroyed the country so much that our greatest ally wants to take us over, Justin. Justin, do a Trump dance for me. Come on, do a Trump dance. You trumpet. Do you dance for Taylor Swift? Give me a little Trump dance, Justin. A little Trump dance.
He danced for Taylor Swift, really? Oh my God. So, Canada, stand up, right? I know you guys can do it. You guys are a proud country, the pioneers, and take your country back. Do it peacefully, right? Because they have the monopoly on violence. Just do it peacefully. It's your country. And they are taking advantage of your country. The same goes for the Netherlands. All of the Dutch people listening, we need to stand up. We really need to stand up and say, no more. No more. Anyway, we're at the end of the stream. There's so much more to tell, but we'll tell it another time. Many things are changing, and we're keeping pace with the changes. We'll see what will happen in the near future, and you'll see, as I've said, with Syria, I think that HTS guy, that Jolani, he's going to be overthrown. Yep. So, we're going to close off with a song, of course. And we have Ollie the Octopus closing off with They're Going to Get You. So, let's take a look at that video and then we'll close off.
Okay. Rolling?
Hello, this is Ollie the Octopus.
Hi, here we are outside the US Embassy. I'm about to play my song. It's called They're Going to Get You. We're filming them because they film us. If you don't renew your tax disc, you'll be driving at your own risk. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They can use their Jedi mind tricks, psychometric biometrics. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. CCTV in your clamshell, turning in the grave of Orwell. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. DNA no longer your own because they've mapped out your genome. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. Them when you're on your own. Daddies, watch your daughters. There's Prozac in the water. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Don't start a revolution. They'll get you with their air pollution. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Because we think we are paranoid. Their forces are still deployed. They're going to get going to get you. Careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. And when you're on your own, 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 on your own. I'm gonna go over here for the last verse.
Nice one.
Good afternoon.
By the way, for the we're the police entertainment unit here to make your day a little bit more exciting and a bit entertaining. Have you not heard of us?
They'll look you up for them, it's not hard, so look your best on your ID card. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They can make your life live in hell if you even mention Roswell. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. You can join in if you want. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They're going to get you,
They're going to get you.
be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. And when you're on your own, be careful what you say. Be careful when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. They know where when you're on your own. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. When you're on your own, 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 on your
You are allowed to tap.
Ollie the Octopus, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, just to explain, if I may, the police, you probably don't know about the police entertainment department, but it's a group of us, and what we do various things to kind of cheer up the police and get them a bit more connected to us, the ununiformed. One of the, I'm actually the head of the police hugging department. Yeah, all right. And
No hugs?
you're not up for a hug?
Hugging makes the world
Sir?
a better place. Can we hug
Are you
you?
up for a hug, sir?
Can we please hug you?
No?
But it's only a nice hug.
It's just a hug.
We're
Go
all
on.
we're all
Are
beautiful
you
and
allowed
unique
to?
snowflakes of Mother Nature and all the rest of it. No?
Are we, Charlie? For the last time, we're choosing one side of a war, right? So let's put a cherry on the top. The President of the United States is talking to the Prime Minister of Japan. Let's take a look at this here.
What they were doing. So it was a big problem. They were surprised actually too. They were saying why didn't they wouldn't sell them LNG. They wouldn't sell. Japan wanted to buy LNG.
No.
And Biden wouldn't sell it. And I'm trying to figure that one out. Maybe it was the environment. You might answer that question. He's
Oh, man. That sucks.
curious about that himself, I think. Thank you very much. If you want to answer that, you may, about LNG, that the United States wouldn't sell you LNG.
That was a really unfortunate thing, but the current administration, the previous administration was not allowing the LNG to be exported to us. I believe that President Trump, on the day of his inauguration, allowed us to resume this importing. I think this is something that is really wonderful for us. And as the country of Japan, we are interested in importing not just LNG, but also bioethanol, ammonia, and other resources at a stable price.
Well, enough with that, right? The White House is live, so, take a look at that. And I thank you all for watching. And of course, we're looking at the world, and let's hope that there will be a better future in front of us. So I thank you for watching. I thank you all for sharing, liking, and subscribing to RHTVLive. Will help the algorithms and stuff. So please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see each other next